Really, Cecilia.
Oh, okay.
R.
All right. No, sub. You know the thing.
R.
Yeah.
I guess you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yes.
Thomas,
Good
it's
morning.
good to
Hey, General, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
I'm okay.
How you doing? Okay. Please, yeah,
And I don't know
try and mute.
here, I don't know what was there? Was there community? Yes. Walikuwa. Na kulikuwa na wengine walikuwa na shida.
Lydia, can you mute? Lydia.
Haikuwa na kamera.
Lydia.
Okay. Hope you can still hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
I just need that feedback so that I can start. I've been given permission to start off, irrespective of the fact that Moses said he will join us as we move along. So I am who I am. I've tried to introduce myself on the platform, and I'm happy to see a couple of my colleagues also that are going to be facilitating some of these presentations and lectures. I'm a World Athletics silver referee. I'm going to go for evaluation this year again. I'm a certified lecturer and a licensed athlete representative. This lecture is given at the behest of the AADC Nairobi to help prepare us all for our different examinations, some for bronze and some for silver. Both are taking place this year. For a start, I would want to say that I'm not an expert. I'm just a participant like you. And sorry, there are some things that are going off and on the screen. So I need to organize myself. Okay. So for today, we have done about 2 series already. But because of the bronze exam coming up very shortly, the timetable has been reversed a little. And we are going to do some focus on how we can get the bronze participants to be well equipped for the exams coming up shortly. In the next 1 hour or thereabout, I want to see how much we can take from the 2 presentations that I have. One has to do with competition officials, then the other has to do with the new rule changes, the very latest ones. Most of the people feel that, most of you, the poll that we conducted, feel we should start with the competition officials. So the rules can come if we have some time. If not, probably some other time, we'll schedule that. So I will straight away begin with competition officials. Competition officials will get in the part 2 of the World Athletics competition rules. Competition rules 3 to 12, actually. But it goes beyond when we start talking about the officiating officials. These are pictures of competition officials. Or this is a picture of competition officials, probably before, after an event. Now, when we talk about competition officials, we have the international officials, which deals with mostly the delegates and referees. I highlighted referees in question mark. We will get there. As much as possible too, I would like the class to be participatory. And if there's someone that can help me monitor the chat, if there's something that I need to react to, maybe Thomas, you can help me interject and let me know. So watch, referees is among the international officials, but you see why I highlighted this as we move along. Then you have the officials of the competition, and you have under the officials of the competition, you have the management officials, talking about the competition director, meeting manager, technical manager, and so on. Then you also have the competition officials. So those ones, again, have the referees, judges, umpires, timekeepers, starters, competition secretary, and so on. Then you have other officials. Now, this is the composition of what we call the entire gamut of competition officials for a particular competition. Why do we have referees appearing twice? It's a food for thought. We will debate it and we'll see how it comes. Now, let us deal with the international officials. These officials are usually appointed internationally. That is the first thing that we need to note. They are not appointed locally, especially we are dealing with competitions not at the national level, but at least at the area and higher levels. So you are appointed, for you to be an international official, you must be appointed by the international body or the regional body, not locally. We also have officials that operate, support locally, appointed by the LOC. But as international officials, we are appointed by the international area or regional body. And these are the list: the organizational delegates, technical delegates. Like I said, all the delegates are there. The race walking judges, the international road course measurer, world athletics starter, and world athletics photo finish judge, a jury of appeal. Of course, not leaving out ourselves, the world athletics referees. So we're appointed internationally. Again, this is something of interest. You will see this particular slide I've shown. International officials, this is like a planning document. I don't know how many of us have seen it, but international officials for World Championship or World Athletics Series events, for the technical official, is appointed 1 year before the competition and is appointed by council. The chief ITO. The duration of the assignment starts 2 nights before the competition, and the expenses are provided by the LOC. Whether they require preliminary visits, no, they don't. I'll tell you The anti-doping delegate is appointed 3 years before. The jury of appeal, 3 years before. Technical delegates, 3 years before. The advertising commissioner, 2 years before. The photographers commission, 2 years before. Then the press delegate, 3 years before. It tells us something, but I leave that to you to judge. I'm only trying to awaken us up to a few talking points. And let us move on. The number of officials appointed in each category, I'm talking about the international officials now, how they are appointed, when and by whom, shall be indicated in the applicable World Athletics or Area Association technical regulations, meaning that, yes, we have just seen that 12 needs to be appointed for World Athletics Series event. As much as possible, World Athletics at that level try to maintain it. But there are situations where it might not be possible. So they adjust. They can adjust lower and they can adjust slightly higher depending on the circumstance. So in Africa, for example, situations I hardly see where we're able to get up to 12 appointed. Maybe we'll hover around, when you add the race walking judges and some other people, over around 9 or thereabout. Well, this man you are seeing there is me. I think it was in Cote d'Ivoire as an international official. But I'm not putting that photograph there because I want you to see me in action. I'm putting it because I want you to see that the international officials, including the referees and chief judges, wear distinctive attire or insignia. That's what you are seeing on the armband. You know, at the bronze level, some of these few kind of questions might come. How do you distinguish them? So please take note. The organizational delegate is the first of the international officials we'll deal with. He maintains close liaison with the LOC at all times. He prepares regular reports to the council or the area association or other relevant governing body as the case may be. You cannot be a delegate without writing reports. Some write before and after. It all depends. But you must write report if you are to be a delegate. Even at our local level, we'll do the same. He also oversees the LOC duties and financial responsibilities. It actually represents the body, either the council or the area association. It deals with the LOC in those areas where they will require to adjust, because sometimes when you are hosting, the LOC is given some money by the international body or the area body. So the organizational delegate tries to ensure that those monies are judiciously spent, and that is why we talk about financial responsibilities there. He also works in cooperation with the technical and other delegates. That is a given. The technical delegate is responsible for ensuring that all technical arrangements for the competition is complete. and they are in complete conformity with the technical rules and the World Athletics Track and Field Facilities Manual. That is where you have all the dimensions of and the how and why we present our competition the way we do, and the technical requirements that are used to assess. If they are not in conformity with the World Athletics Facility and Track and Field Facilities Manual, there's the likelihood that the facility will not be certified. And we'll get there, the implication of a facility that is not certified. For competitions other than invitation meetings, mostly invitation meetings are one-day events for a few hours. He submits proposals to the appropriate body on the timetable and entry standards. To approve the list of official implements, he does that while the technical manager ensures the conformity with the track and field facilities manager will get there, but the technical delegate approves the list and decide on the use of personal implements and those provided by a supplier. Now, for the technical regulations governing every competition, the technical delegate actually prepares it. And in these technical regulations, they indicate there whether they need the number of personal implements that can be allowed and for what purposes and how it will be used. In line, mostly they derive their freedom of action from the World Athletics position on this. The technical delegate also ensures that the applicable technical regulations are issued to all competing members in good time before the competition. It's also responsible for all other technical preparations necessary for the holding of the athletics event, meaning that he has to liaise with the LOC to ensure that their facilities are in conformity with the rules. He liaises with the technical manager as well to ensure that there is certification or the survey of the equipment or the facility is up to date. Particularly, he controls the entries and have the right to reject anyone for technical reasons or in accordance with Rule 8.1 of the technical rules, which has to do with protest, dealing with status of an athlete to compete. Now, note, rejection for reasons other than technical must result from a ruling of World Athletics or appropriate area association or other relevant governing bodies. If it is not technical, it's a technical delegate. If the reason that he wants to reject is not technical, he cannot take non-technical reasons. He cannot act on non-technical reasons alone. It must be referred to the governing body to decide. So, for example, we talk about age or nationality especially. It will not be in the purview of the technical delegate to do that alone. He has to refer to the governing body because these things shift from time to time. I'll continue with the technical delegate. It determines the qualifying standards for the field events and the basis on which the rounds shall be arranged for track events. Well, when we get to seeding and whatnot, this wants to come to the fore. He arranges the seeding and draws for all events in accordance with the rules and applicable technical regulations. And he approves the start list. It decides upon matters which arise prior to the competition for which provision has not been made in these rules. There are things that will come up. You can't immediately place it where the rule deals with it. These are the things that the technical delegate will have to handle. Issues might arise on the track or on the field that maybe sometimes beyond the immediate responsibility or know-how of the referee, or the referee wants to seek an additional input, especially now that the jury of appeal has become something that can be or may not be. We'll get there. So the technical delegate has to come in. Of course, the technical delegate usually is an experienced referee or that has gone beyond that level. So he can always bring his wealth and of experience to bear on situations that are not entirely covered by the rules. It decides on matters which arise during the competition for which provision has not also been made in the rules. If requested, he chairs the technical meetings and briefs the technical officials. He prepares written reports before the competition and after the competition and makes recommendations for future editions. I said this, you must always write report if you're a technical delegate. For invitation meets, he provides all necessary support and advice to the organizers and ensure the submission of written reports on the execution of the competition. Even though for those kind of invitation meets, he might not do too much, but he provides advice and he also makes sure that he submits reports. Medical and anti-doping delegate. He has the ultimate authority on all medical matters. Availability of adequate facilities for examination, medical examination, treatment, and emergency care at the venues of the competition, venue of venues, it could be several venues, at the training and warm-up areas, and at the athletes' accommodation. It's a huge responsibility. Something cannot be happening in the athletes' accommodation. They want to take that athlete all the way to the stadium or facility or warm-up areas before they deal with that. So these are some of the things that are done well in advance. That is why some of them are also given the opportunity to come well in advance, to make visits well in advance of the competitions. They also provide medical certification. Sometimes we know all these things. Athletes, different tricks come up. They don't want to do a particular event at a particular time. And if they avoid that event, of course, the sanctions will follow. So it is, most times they feign injury of different sorts. So it's the medical delegate that determines and certifies whether that athlete is actually medically unfit to participate at that time or at a future period of that competition. So that certification is very important in certain aspects of disciplinary, and some disciplinary actions that would be taken if otherwise there's no medical certification to that effect. And he has the power to exclude from participation in further events in the competition, including relays, in cases where final confirmation was given that the athlete will start in an event, but then failed to participate. How does he have this power? Because he can determine. Most times, like I said, it's due, they try to apply medical issues on their case. So the medical delegate would cross-check, assess such an athlete, and determine. And if he determines that the athlete, or she determines the athlete is malingering, then of course he has the right or the power to ensure that that athlete is excluded from further participation. He also has the power to order an athlete to withdraw before or immediately retire from an event during competition. Well, if he sees that this athlete, yes, trying to participate at all costs, including life-threatening situations, including health and safety situations, he can order that athlete to withdraw. So most times, where we're talking about some application questions, as a referee, you see an athlete in that condition, what do? Best thing is to inform the medical delegate to take action in that respect. Because if you go ahead and stop that athlete, it could create some other issues. Anti-doping delegate. He liaises with the LOC to ensure that suitable facilities are provided for the conduct of doping control. Doping control is a whole gamut of preparations. There must be toilet facilities. There must be opportunity for chaperones to escort the athletes, and they must also be able to provide their samples without tampering, without influence, without any form of cheating, without threat as well. So all these things are done. Again, that's why some of them have to come early to assess all these facilities before the competition. And the anti-doping delegate is responsible for all matters relating to doping control. World Athletics referees are selected and appointed by World Athletics. The chief referee amongst them, in conjunction with the technical delegates, shall assign at least one World Athletics referee for every event on the program. The technical delegate himself will be the one to appoint the chief World Athletics referee, if one has not already been appointed by the world body or the area. Most times, well, I've experienced many, the area appoints the chief referee alongside the other referees. But if it's not done, the technical delegate will do that. Please take note. The World Athletics referee will also be the referee for each event to which they are assigned. Now, you note that there are two areas the referees appeared when we started. One as an international official and another one as a competition official. So this is where it's coming from. But I think eventually the rule should clarify this thing very well. When we're talking about rule changes, these are some of the kind of things that they have to properly clarify. This was existing before the rule was changed to make ITUs become referees for each event. Now that it is like that, then there might be need for rule changes. I'm just trying to agitate our minds in that direction. In road running, cross-country and mountain and trail running competitions, World Athletics referees, if appointed, shall provide all necessary support to the organizers. They have their rules, they have their regulations also governing their event. I'm privileged to have been part of mountain running for a very long time, and I see how it goes. But they are also affiliated. Those associations are affiliated to World Athletics. So when they appoint us, we give them support. There might be some little variations from our rules. We must support them to ensure fair competition. World Athletics referees must be present at all times when an event to which they have been assigned is in progress. You cannot be assigned to an event and you are somewhere else doing something else. It's very, very important. So there are times that, and that's why, for example, when we get there, the athletics referee's responsibility covers from the event up to the victory ceremony. But there are times that an event is concluded, you are involved in another event, and the victory ceremony, something that happens, what happens at that stage? These are questions that come up, and you'll be able to agitate your mind to see what you can do. There are times you need to shift responsibilities to another appropriate referee to handle. What athletics referees should ensure that the conduct of the competition is in full conformity with the rules, applicable technical regulations, and relevant decisions made by the technical delegate. It's a given. The referees also ensure the competition is conducted in full conformity with the World Athletics rules, applicable regulations, and decisions of the technical delegate. If a problem arises, what do? You advise the chief judge when you are now working as referee of a particular event. Either the chief judge decides or you now decide if the chief judge is taking his time. First is to advise so that the chief judge himself or herself will act. But if that chief judge is a bit sluggish in doing that, you decide. But if the chief judge himself or herself sees the reason quickly, of course, most times they do, then a decision is given. If not resolved, then the matter can be referred to the technical delegates. These are some of the things that maybe some things that happen out of that are not clearly covered by the rules. This is how and why you need to engage with one of the times you engage with the technical delegate, especially now that even the jury of appeal, their presence is now in doubt. At the field events conclusion, sign the result cards or the result sheets. You must sign. You sign because you take responsibility. You sign because before you sign, you must have cross-checked and make sure that everything is in order. Because sometimes the original result sheets might be different from, especially with this electronic period, sometimes, or they want to cross-check what has really happened. Your signed result sheet becomes the authentic result. So that is why it's important. It's not to leave it out for the chief judge to sign. In fact, most times we have like 2 signatures. Most times I've seen. The chief judge signs, then you sign, but you must sign. And that's to show that you are present and you have accepted that result the way it is. Now, race walking. Race walking judges are appointed for all competitions at the World Athletics or World Athletics Series level. But now, note, for these competitions, they must be gold level race walking judges. At the higher competitions, World Athletics Series events, Olympics, and higher games, gold level. But for maybe the area level competitions or some other lower level competitions, it shall be gold, silver, or bronze level race walking judges. Gold, silver, or bronze. Now, something happened. Francesco Fortunato, sure, he broke the world record in 5,000 race walk, I think last month. And in 2025, last year, in Italy, he broke that same record, but it wasn't ratified. Why was it not ratified? It was because that particular competition, which is in the World Athletic Series level event, they only use bronze level race walking judges. That's what denied that athlete the world record. So we must be careful, especially when we are at a level of maybe LOC level or advising a technical delegate or competition director or what have you, which we can easily become in Africa. We must note some of these things so that it doesn't affect the athlete. International Road Race Course Measurer. Is appointed or engaged to ensure that the courses where road events are held entirely or partially outside the stadium are measured and certified in accordance with the World Athletics requirements. The measurer shall be a member of the World Athletics or AIMS panel of International Road Course Measurers, grade A and B, or B. Well, I'm happy to know that we have many in Africa. One of your facilitators who facilitated the very first in the series, Peter, is a certified grade A road course measurer. So he will be coming to take us on some of these things in further, so we can always clarify some of the questions, agitations in your mind. The starter. The starter, World Athletics starter, and the World Athletics photo finish judges or judge is appointed by the council or the relevant area association or governing body. The starter shall start the races and undertake any other duties assigned to them by the technical delegates, and shall supervise the checking and operation of the start information system. Is the starter. He checks the operation of the start information system. For the international photo finish judge, he supervises all photo finish functions and is also the chief photo finish judge, especially when you have a track referee. The track referee might not be in a position to supervise photo finish because it's on the track. So the chief photo finish judge the photo finish judge shall be the chief photo finish judge. So his decisions in the area of judging the positions is important. So he supports the referee in that area. Please take note. Now for the jury of appeal, there will be 3, 5, or 7, odd numbers for obvious reasons. So in case there's a vote, there must always be a resolve. They are appointed. Now this picture you are seeing is a picture of Suren. It's a gold referee, African. This is one picture he took as a chief, not just a member of the jury of appeal, but he was the chairman of the jury of appeal. So this is what we can be when we work very hard like him. He facilitated the very last presentation we had, and I don't know if he's on this call right now. I hope he is. I decided to bring it up because I like his style. I want to be like him when I grow up. So I hope most of us would like to be like him. In instances where there is an appeal relating to race walking, at least one member of the jury of appeal shall be a World Athletics gold, silver, or bronze level race walking judge. Any of them can be. one chairperson and one secretary. The secretary may or may not be a member of the jury. If he's not a member, then he doesn't have a voting right. That's just the difference. But if he's a member, then he can vote. Now, jury of appeal may be appointed, may, note may, be appointed at all competitions at the World Athletics Series and above level, and at other competitions if the organizers deem it desirable or necessary. So it is no longer compulsory. That's why I've been emphasizing it as we're moving along. There could be or there may not be. So take note, this is the recent rule change last year. So in the situation where there is no jury of appeal, so what happens? Food for thought. Now, when there is, okay, I underlined here, the governing organizing body will decide whether they need the jury of appeal or not. Now, when there is an appeal that affects one of the members of the jury of appeal directly or indirectly, especially when an athlete is affiliated to their member federation, that particular member of that jury of appeal will be asked to recuse himself or herself. And if he or she doesn't, the chairperson of the jury of appeal will direct that particular member to step aside. Then an alternate jury member will be appointed as substitute to replace such a member for that particular case. So it means that there will always be some standby persons that can be drafted into the jury of appeal if the need arises. Now we go to management officials. We have finished with the international officials. The management officials consist of the competition director, the meeting manager, the technical manager, and an event presentation manager. Please take note. These are the management officials. These ones actually relate directly with the international delegates most times. I've talked about the commission director as I was talking under the international officials. I've talked about the technical manager, how they relate with the technical delegates. Now we have the meeting manager. We're going to talk about them briefly in detail. Competition director. He will continue to liaise with the technical and other relevant delegates. He plans the technical organization of a competition. This question will always come. Is the competition director that plans the technical organization, how the competition is organized technically. But he does that in conjunction with the technical or as directed by the technical delegates. He plans the technical organization, including the integration of event presentation and victory and medal ceremonies. This event presentation has become a big deal in world athletics competitions. They have put so much emphasis on it because now our athletics or our sport is supposed to be a show that will be appealing to the entire public, whether online, television, or live. So whatever the technical, even the technical delegate considers this now in planning the competition. While after planning, the organization of it is done, coordinated by the competition director. The competition director ensures that his plan is executed before, and during the competition is a given, ensures that any technical problems are resolved or an alternate solution put in place. As a referee, most times you see us running after the competition director because of one or two challenges. So he is the go-to man for everything. He directs the interaction between the participants in the competition. Through the communication system, he must be in contact with all key officials and other relevant stakeholders involved in the delivery and broadcast of the competition. Still on the competition director, of course, he engages with the event presentation manager to ensure compliance with what I've talked about. The event is presented to be appealing to the audience. Ensures the accurate preparation and publication of the call room schedule in accordance with rules 2911. Now, he ensures the accurate preparation and publication. It's the competition director's role, but I can tell you by practice, in fact, in Africa, we end up doing this one most of the time. It's a debate we can open ourselves to later. Because sometimes we appoint competition directors that are not really fully grounded in technical officiating jobs. So we end up doing most of these things. So don't be surprised when you go for a competition and you are told to prepare the call room schedule. Communicates with the start coordinator to ensure the efficient operation of the start procedures. Because sometimes some other areas might not be ready. They are communicating with him. So he knows, and he can tell the start team when to kick off or when to slow down. He must be fully aware of the applicable regulations for the competition and the functioning of the plant technological and IT systems. I can tell you there's competition director appointed, and he could not distinguish between the throwing circles for discus and for hammer or shot put, for hammer. So we had a challenge there. So this is where we need to appoint people that are experienced in some of these areas. And if they are not, how does he now manage matters arising from the disciplinary aspect of the rule, TR 7.4? The meeting manager ensures the correct conduct of the meeting. Particularly, we must note that he deals more with the officials. He is the manager of the officials of the competition. So that is one thing we must hold on. So when we're talking about meeting manager, it's officials that he deals with. He checks that they are all reported for duty. He appoints substitutes when necessary. There are times that he can actually remove any official who is not abiding by the rules and replace that official. So he has that power. He cooperates with the appointed marshals. Why? The marshals control entry into the competition or field of play. So if he has to do anything, maybe removal and replacement, for example, he also needs to consult with the marshals. The marshals somehow will also work very closely with him because for obvious reasons. He can have assistance if it's a very huge competition that requires some time for him to rest, because his work is actually enormous as well. Now the technical manager. It ensures that the competition facilities, equipment, and implements are in accordance with all World Athletics rules. We've talked about it. Placement, removal of equipment, implements, and technical presentation of the competition areas is in accordance with plan. Whose plan? The technical delegates plan. And it checks or marks personal implements. Again, in line with the technical delegates' approval. Now, the event presentation manager. He plans with the competition director the event presentation arrangements, which I've talked about, in cooperation with the technical and organization delegates. Very important. Because the organization delegates most times also oversees the ceremonial aspect, because that is the show. This is what the organizers want to present to the world. So the organizational delegate works closely with the event presentation manager. But note, event presentation manager's duty is not only to give medal or ceremonial. It goes well beyond that. When we deal with it in full, we know that it involves the management of all those, in fact, nearly everybody that is involved in presenting that event. There are so many. The broadcast host or what have you is there. Announcers are there. He liaises with them. So many people are involved in event presentation. So it's not just giving out of medals, because I know most of our competitions, once they appoint someone event presentation manager, is medal and the ceremonial that they deal with. Please, in case of exams, it goes beyond that. It ensures the plan is accomplished, solving relevant problems with the competition director and relevant delegates. The event presentation manager directs the interaction between the members of the event presentation team. That's what I'm talking about, the team, through communication systems. It ensures through announcement or technology that the public is informed about the athletes taking part in an event. This is what the announcers actually do. Intermediate results and the final results at the earliest possible moment. For higher level competitions, World Athletics Series and above, you need an English and French announcers. But for some other ones, you could have local language announcers included. Now the competition officials. We talked about the competition management officials. Now the competition officials, these are the list. Referee is number one there again, like I highlighted before. Then you have the judges, the chiefs, and the judges for all the different events, the umpires, the chief umpires and the umpires, the timekeepers, and so on and so forth, as shown. The competition secretary, assistants, technical information center manager, the chief marshals and marshals, the wind gauge operators, chief measurement judge, scientific and assistants, chief quorum judge and quorum judges, advertising commissioner. There is one that is missing here. I will need someone to tell me one very important one. We call, well, in our own local parlance, we call them groundsmen. Those technical operators, the ones that move the equipment and implements from one place to the other, they are very important. But those ones work under the direction of the technical manager in most cases. Going back to referees, you must ensure as a referee that the rules are observed. For you to ensure the rules are observed, you must know the rules, you must pay maximum attention, efficient control of the athletes, good positioning in the arena, and sufficient number of judges to assist you. The referee shall not act as a judge or umpire, but you may take any action, decision according to the rules based on your own observations. And you may overrule the decision of a judge. When an athlete with physical disability like the one shown up on this slide is competing, you may interpret or allow a variation to the rules in the aspect of, not in the aspect of mechanical aid, but this one is obvious. There's no way that the athlete, he doesn't have a foot. So you can't talk about the foot resting on the foot plate. It is the prosthesis that is resting there. So you can vary some of these things. Now, you will need to take decisions on cases for which provision has not been made in the rules. Please, all these ones are very important because that's what you are here for, the referee. Now, this photograph on my right, bottom right, you can see a cameraman here. Now, this is where conflict arises in competitions. And these are the conflicts that needs to be resolved by the competition director and the technical delegate. This man wants to take a particular shot. Probably that his director, media director, has told him. He steps into the track, obstructs the athletes in the bid to get a shot. This is where you, as a referee, might need to take decisions. So how do you do this? Do you go and yank the man out of that place? Or the other diplomatic ways or bureaucratic processes to follow? Food for thought and for debate. Other event area referees can be deployed: call room, running and race walking events. All these other events have referees as well. That's what we're saying. Field events have events outside the stadium, combined events, and of course, video. Call room. This is the layout of a typical call room, not the type we see most of the time. You have the judges all over the place, watching each of the cubicle for each of the events as they come in and move out. Prepare them and they move out. The call-room referee has authority in disciplinary matters, starting from the warm-up area to competition site. Take note, these ones are questions that would normally come. He has the authority on disciplinary matters from the warm-up through the call room up to the competition sites. Then the referee for the particular event takes over from there up to the ceremonial event, medal presentation. In all other instances, the referee, I've talked about it, for the respective event has authority. Running and race walking. The referee for running and race walking events, the referee appointed, does not have jurisdiction over any case regarding race walking. It's obvious you're not a race walking judge. The road race referee shall, wherever practicable, give a warning prior to disqualification. That is for disciplinary cases. We'll deal with all those ones as time goes on. But the race walking or running referee has jurisdiction to decide placings only when the judges of, that's of course the race walking judges are unable to arrive at the discretion. It rarely happens. It rarely happens, but that is just to fulfill our righteousness. The start referee is appointed for the start So any referee that is appointed for the start is called the start referee. So you can have the track referee and the start referee. When there's no start referee particularly appointed, then the track referee can act as the start referee. And if the track referee is so occupied, he can also delegate the responsibility of the start referee to the start coordinator. I hope this is clear. So when the referee is not at the start, the track referee, sorry, yes, the track referee, because if he's the start referee, he must be there. But in a situation where we don't have a designated start referee, the track referee, who is going to act as a start referee, can appoint the start coordinator to act on his behalf on matters concerning the start referee. If there's a debate on this, we can do that. They also decide on facts related to starts if he does not agree with the start team. And most times is when there's, if he believes that there's a problem with the start information system. In Ghana, during the African Games or thereabout or so, we had a problem with one of the starting blocks. It was giving us false starts. Well, by the time we checked, we discovered that there's a problem truly because we switched the cable and discovered that it was doing the same thing. So what we need to do, quietly, we disregarded that particular signal. Otherwise, it was giving us a lot of problems. So these are some of the things. When you now discover that and something else happens, you take a wrong decision, you can now step in as a referee to say no. But otherwise, if it's as a result of a false start by an approved SIS, and the SIS is believed to be working well, then there's no reason for the referee to stop that. The field event referee, he controls the intermediate result by verifying the results at the end of the first 3 trials, and he checks and controls the final results, verify the final results, compare the results with the electronic results, the manual results and the electronic results, and signs the results card. Remember what I told you about signing. So most times we work together hand in hand. As the event is going on, you are checking your manual, you are checking the electronic, everything is tallying. So there will be no much stress at the end of the competition to do too much checking. So it's good to be alert and be following the competition as it's going. The field event referee also supervises the pre-event measurement device check and the measurement of records. You can see all these ones taking place here in these photographs. He does that with the measurement judge. In fact, before every particular event, especially the session starts, it's good to check. There is a form to fill to confirm some of these things. And I tell you the truth, I've had almost all the time, there are errors, especially the first day of the competition, between the real measurement and the scientific measurement, because we are not yet there. So sometimes the datum taken is wrong. So it gives wrong reading. If you don't check that, you go with that, whatever they read. So when you check that, you correct it and they acknowledge, because there's nothing to argue about. So please, that is very important, especially when you're organizing field events. You must cross-check with the scientific measurement to ensure that you are aligned before the competition starts. Combined events. The combined event referees has jurisdiction over the conduct of the combined events and the respective individual events. He is in full authority of the entire event from start to end, whether field or track. The video assistance referee operates from a video control room, and he should consult and shall be in communication with other referees. So he assists the referees on the track or on the field. The person, the video assistant referee, as the name implies, is an assistant to the referee. But when the chiefs are down, when there are arguments, at the end of it all, with appropriate evidential documentations, the advice or the decision of the video assistant referee now prevails. Situations like that occur. And when you're asked that kind of question, you know, provided there are evidences to show, if there are arguments between the field referee or the track referee and the video referee, because the video referee is in the position to see better, his own suggestions prevail. Okay, that's what that's here. Efforts shall be made to reach consensus among the referees. However, when no final consensus can be reached, the video referee shall have the final decision based on the available video images, except in cases concerning starts, where the final decision shall be made by the start referee. The video referee may not be able to do much when it comes to start, because he does not have the opportunity to see some of the additional evidence that the start referee will have, the wavelength and the acoustic signal and some other things that they use. So that is where the start referee has another upper hand advantage. The referee decides on protests. Well, matters arising from the courtroom, inclusive. Who can present a protest is a question. The athlete, him or herself, or his representative can do that. The referee can accept the protest and reconsider his earlier decision based on new available evidence, if still applicable, normally before the jury of appeal decision or the victory or medal ceremony. Or he can also reject the protest. And if he rejects the protest, the athlete has the right to appeal or refer the protest to the jury of appeal. The referee has the right to also decide to repeat events where circumstances and assessment of the overall situation requires it. If there is a major, let me say, safety concern that occurs while the event is on, the referee can decide to say, okay, we'll repeat this event at a later time, or a particular segment of the event, or everything. But they have to weigh many things. When we get to that level, we'll discuss all this before that decision is reached. Most times too, we must consult with the technical delegate to be able to take that decision. That's why there's communication flow between all these bodies at all times. Any event or any part of an event, well, this particular decision to repeat event is rarely done anyway. But if there's no other solution to it, it will be done. Now, when do you repeat the events? It could be on the same day, or it could be on a later day, or at a later day. There are situations where the solutions could be to qualify the athlete for the following round. And that is why you have QR, qualified by the referee. For field events, it could be to give a replacement trial. The warning of an exclusion cards are the yellow and red cards. Most of us are aware of that. Competitors guilty of improper conduct, TR 16.5 can also be taken care of by the start referee. That is a disciplinary offense. But when it is a technical offense, like false start and some other things, the starter has preeminence over that. But if it's disciplinary, then or related protest, then the referee comes in there. And whatever decision is taken is included in the result card and is communicated to other referees through the competition secretary, of course. Now, a yellow card. The referee may exclude an athlete without a yellow card warning, where circumstances justify it. There are some offenses that you don't need to wait. You can give a red card straight. It's just like football. If the referee is aware of a previous yellow card, he shows a second yellow card first, and then a red card immediately after. If the referee is not aware of a previous yellow card, when known later, then same consequence as if a yellow card was given in association with the red card will happen. Then that is if he gives a yellow card without knowing that the athlete had gotten a yellow card before, and he eventually now knows, it doesn't really matter. The athlete can also be issued a red card, as if both cards were given at the same time. So eventually you will see on the result card, or result sheet, red card, even though it was just a yellow that was shown to the public. So that's what this rule is saying. But then you will inform the athlete and team immediately to be aware so that they don't bother themselves to start fiddling that athlete in other events. Now, this one, as a referee, rarely don't do, but you have the power to also, after consulting with the competition director, to warn or remove any person not in competition but properly identified that is present in the competition area and who is acting in an unsporting or improper manner or provides assistance to athlete, like that cameraman that was at the middle of the track. He could also go there to disturb a particular athlete, and thereby, in the course of doing that, assisting another athlete to give an advantage to another athlete, probably ahead. So such a situation, like I said before, you must do that in consultation with the competition director to warn or exclude that particular person from participating within the competition area. I think we have gone beyond 1 hour. We are now going to Chief Judge. I want to know if I should stop here or just complete. There are a few slides more, or then my colleague will take over from this in subsequent presentation. So I just want to know, someone can speak here. You can unmute if there's an opportunity to do that. Or let me check the chat. Is there anything on the chat that I need to relate with? Proper conduct of spectators. Yes, I just talked about it. No, spectators is not on the competition area. You have authority on things that has to do with the competition area, because you can't go to the spectator stand to start giving warning. There are the marshals are there to deal with such a thing, and some other law enforcement bodies. So that is from Abdallah. So, but what is on the field of play, you can deal with that yourself. Jacqueline is saying I should continue. Okay, Abdallah, I have a lot of questions. I'm just going through this. More athletes are protesting against seemingly well-functioning stat systems. That's why these things must be checked by the referee. Once you know and you are setting, you can stand your grounds. Worst thing, they will compete under protest, and the protest will be quashed at the end of it all. Thumbs up to groundkeepers. Yes, I know. Who requests the TD to chair the technical meeting? Most times, the technical meeting is organized from the LOC level. So we know in practice, the technical delegate chairs, it comes in for the technical meeting, but it doesn't need to be there. These days, there's virtual technical meetings even, so we're not gathering in one place any longer. So whether it's there or not, technical meeting can go on. Even the competition director and the technical delegate is important, or the chief ITO, because there are things that are discussed there about the competition. For example, we're talking about sometimes we try to clear the starting heights and the increment of the bar and some other very technical things that the technical delegate himself is the one that decides on all those things. So if he's not there, then he must have delegated to someone else to handle it, but it is based on his plan. Okay, so I'm saying, okay, this I should go on to complete yes, Samsung says, Coach Gloria from Saudi Arabia, please, can't an athlete protest from an unfair judgment by the officials? Of course, that's the whole idea of protest. But you have to determine what is unfair. Unfairness will be seen not only by you, it will be seen by all. And we have to determine what constitutes unfairness. If they say you have registered a foul jump, it will be seen. So if they say you are supposed to take your job, they say no, don't take your jump or don't take your throw. That is unfair. And why should that be? Then the official will have to explain that. But as much as possible, our officiating philosophy really does not allow us to be unfair to the athlete. It's one of our principles as officials to abide by. Lucas, my Oga, he said I can add a little about the need for zero control tests. Yes, I think that will come towards the end of this presentation. That's why I've not gotten there. So generally, not as to waste time, is that I should continue, so I'll just continue. Now, the chief judge, so we have chief judges for the call room, for the track events, timekeepers, all these, they have chiefs. Photo finish. Who is the chief photo finish judge? It's the same person as the appointed photo finish judge. Then chief umpires, chief field of the chief of each of the events, you have a chief judge, and the race walking, amongst the judges, they also appoint a chief. Then you have, among the marshals, there's also a leader that's a chief. So we have chiefs in many areas. And these chiefs relate with the referees to manage the different aspects of the event. Now, for the chief judge, one of the judges can be appointed to be chief if one is not already located from the beginning. But most times I know, even in our local competitions, we appoint the chiefs alongside the judges. There's someone not speaking. The chief judge allocates the duties of the judges unless they have been located in advance. Most times we know it may not be possible. So the chief judge has a role to help to allocate these judges. Note, we are looking at a referee level, so we expect the chief judge to help us allocate these duties, except we know the officials ourselves. So that's what is applicable in real life. The chief judge coordinates the work of the judges. And the judges may reconsider any original decision made by them if it was made in error, provided the new decision is still applicable. Alternatively, if a decision has subsequently been made by a referee or the jury of appeal, they refer all available information to the referee or to the jury of appeal. Meaning that if the decision has passed the stage that the judge can reconsider it, then whatever evidence he or she has, he passes all to the referee or the jury of appeal. But most times, since we as referees were most times at the event site, we see these things ourselves and we support in the decision making. That's why most protests come to the referee immediately and the referee takes the decision because we are there. And if the referee decision is not taken, then the particular athlete or representative can now go for an appeal. You see, the truth is because I think why the jury of appeal is even being stepped down slowly now is because, truth be said, most technical decisions taken by the referees, especially with the video referee in present now, will be correct. Will be correct. It is only political decisions that most times the jury of appeal comes to upturn. That's the truth. I'm being very upfront here. So the role is now being played, and I think it's good judgment. So if someone does not agree with the referee, and the rule also says, if there is no other evidence to show, the referee's decision will be upheld. That is how important the referee's position is. The chief and quorum judges. This is a very interesting quorum. The chief is standing here. These are other judges. If you see this quorum, you will not like to go home. If you work in this kind of quorum, pray that our competitions bring up this quorum, these types of quorums, by the grace of God. The chief supervises the transit, note, it is the chief that supervises the transit between the warm-up and the competition area to ensure that after checking, athletes are present and ready on the infield for the scheduled start of the event. If they miss anything at the quorum, the competition will be delayed. That is why it is not anybody that is trying to learn how to officiate that goes to the quorum. And I see most times when it comes to quorum, a lot of experienced people are the people that are put there. Because if they don't release people as needed, the competition will be messed up. And these are people that work without being seen most of the time. So we must give a thumbs up and commendation to quorum referees, the quorum referees, the chief, and the quorum judges. These are list of unauthorized, this photograph shows, as you're entering the quorum, you see the things that are prohibited. So there will be no excuse on what you are supposed to take in and what you're not. They verify the team vest, for obvious reasons, for advertisement purposes. The number beeps, won correctly, and based on the start list, check if the shoes are on the World Athletics list of authorized shoes. Check the shoes for number and dimension of spikes, the sole and the heel thickness in the relevant cases. All these ones are in line in the shoe regulations. And mark you, I think yesterday, or day before yesterday, the World Athletics has now updated the shoe regulations to say that through athletes for through events from this circle are free to use any kind of shoe they need. They are no longer restricted. That is just 2 days ago or yesterday. I think yesterday the thing came out. So it's a decision that will now be used to update the rules or the regulations concerning. I'm sure these kind of questions will come in your exam anyway, in our exams. So those throw athletes from the circle, the discus, the hammer through, the short put. Short put may not, but discus, hammer, very important. You know, they have a particular kind of shoe, really. If you want to look at the heel and all those dimensions, they might actually create some problems in decision making. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons they decided to leave it. Whether you, if you like, have a heel of 50 centimeters, your throw will not go further than what you want to throw. So some of these things have been considered, so they are free. But eventually, when they publish it, we'll also update ourselves on it properly before the exams. Then they verify advertising on the clothes and bags. They ensure non-authorized material is taken to the arena, and they refer any unresolved issue to the call room referee to decide. The old-time chief judges trying to catch athletes finishing. That's the photograph you are seeing. We don't see this again that often. But these chief judges, track judges, and they decide the order in which the competitors finish. And when they are in doubt, the referee, of course, will come in. This is something for debate. Again, the referee is not there. How does the referee come in when the people that are there, they can't even decide? But this is what the rule says. And I'm not talking about the photo finish. I'm talking about the live judgment of the finish. I need some people to support, to enlighten me. But based on the rule, that is how it is. So we follow it. The timekeepers, again, we don't see these ones like this again, but it can be a very interesting look. The chief timekeepers and these are timekeepers. They allocate, the chief timekeeper allocates the duties to the timekeepers. Of course, the timekeepers are also termed as judges in a way for manual timekeeping. They are placed at least 5 meters from and in line with the finish line. They record times independently. Then each athlete's official time is handed over to the chief timekeeper, who verifies and now records. There's a procedure to that. When we get to further times, we'll deal with those ones. The chief photo finish judge is responsible for the functioning of the system. He must familiarize himself with the equipment with the help of the technical staff, checking all applicable settings. That is why we must always be on time and ensure that we clear all these ones before the competition, so that you can talk from a position of strength, position of knowledge, and confidence that your system is functioning well and there's nothing about it. Now, Lucas talked about the 0-0 test. This is something that we were taking for granted before, but it's now very important. Without this conducted and kept as evidence, there is no track record that will be ratified. So that is how important this particular test is. This is the starting gun, the different models now. And my cursor, I can't see, okay. So it is placed to be in line with the nearer edge of the finish line. By the time the gun is fired, okay, first, the people involved in this test is the chief photo finish judge, the start referee, and the starter. These are the key people. We can have almost 10 people like you're seeing, but the key people there are these ones. This is like the starter. Please mute your line. So between this person and this one is holding water. It doesn't look like a referee here, but it could be. So the referee and because he is talking by radio, the reason is that he wants to know when the gun is fired, what the impression is on the photo finish equipment and the values that is reading. So, but at this level of yours and ours, let me put it that way, it is good to know that the zero test is conducted by the start referee, the starter, and the chief photo finish judge. These are the people that are involved. Now, the technicalities of running this is different. I even have more interesting photographs of the ones that we conducted physically. And it has to coincide with 1,000th of a second reflection on the photo finish system itself. Anything more than that is considered not accurate. It means that the whole idea is to ensure that the firing of the gun coincides with the reading, the start of the reading, the timing reading on the timing device. So if the difference is more than 1,000th of a second, then the timing will be inaccurate and will not be accepted. So this test brings about that. So if it is not, then adjustments are made to ensure that it is accurate before the event starts. The chief photo finish judge will determine the finishing order and respective times because we rely so much on the photo finish these days. Just yesterday, the 60 meters final at the World Indoors took a little while to separate the two athletes that came second and third. Now we come to the transponder system. We have the chief transponder timing judge and his judges. They are first, the chief is responsible for the functioning of the system. Then before the start of the competition, he meets the technical staff, he or she meets the technical staff involved, familiarize himself with the equipment, supervise the testing of the equipment to ensure that the passing of the transponder over the finish line will record the athlete's finishing time. With the chief, ensure that provision is made for the application note. So now, the transponders, we have transponder chips that can be attached to the shoes or the bibs. These days, they put more on the athlete's bibs. when the athlete crosses a particular transponder transmitter that is placed on the track, it will indicate which particular athlete that is allocated that code and whatever values that are expected the transponder to relay. If it is timing and any other thing, it will relay it. If it is even intermediate times or split times, it will relay. So this is another way. So the transponder timing helps to also determine the finishing of athletes. The times that athletes finish, in case it comes in as a backup to when a timing system probably fails. The transponder system can also help to know the timing, but it may not be able to give the exact finishing order, but to give the time. Now, if you use that time with the finishing order given by the track judges, then you may be able to come up with correct placement and times of these athletes. A transponder system, you have one transponder chip per athlete. Because questions can come, how you use, whether you can use a transponder to determine the finishing order or the timing of the athlete's records, finishing time of an athlete, which is correct. So you know. Now to umpires. Umpires are placed by the referee. They don't have any authority at all for final decision. The assistants to the running and race walking event referees, they are allowed and they are responsible to point out infringements that they observe and send reports by any means, whether written or electronic, to the referee. I use the term by any means applicable. The infringements communicated to the referee they can do that by raising a yellow flag or other reliable means approved by the TD. So let's take note. That's why I say they send reports by any means. But now this next one can say reliable and applicable means. So we can say that. Then they report to the referee any breach of rules, even if the athlete or team did not finish the race. So sometimes there could be a breach. At the end of it all, the athlete falls down and did not finish, and they keep quiet. But not reporting that can become an issue when the jury or an appeal is held. So it's good to report whatever they find, and we err a lot in this, especially in Africa. So when we are trying to deploy our umpires, especially the chief umpires, we brief them. But when we're having meetings, the meetings with the local officials, these briefings are very important for them to know that it's a responsibility of theirs to report. They said they can indicate with tape where the infringement took place. Well, a question mark. Whether they have the tape itself is a different thing. Then sufficient number for takeover zones in relays. During relays, both the umpires, even referees are deployed at the different takeover zones, and especially the core of the bends, to watch out for infringements. Now for race walking, among the race walking judges appointed, if a chief is not appointed by the council, then amongst them, they will decide who will be chief. So please take note. Just like the referees, the same way. If one is not appointed, the TD appoints. Now, if the TD does not appoint, I will say, okay, so the person will be, most times the senior most experienced is normally reflected. They must act independently. It is not because someone gives lots of contact. In fact, you won't even be standing together to even decide that. Most times they are dispersed, different positions, so there will be no much direct communication. Then their judgments must be through visual observation, not electronic. There have been debates on how to go about it electronically, but there's a recent rule change also to show that, because before now, race walking athletes are not really allowed to wear long pants, but the rule has been changed. They can wear long pants, but it must be fitting. It must be such that will not obstruct the direct assessment of the movement of the lower limb. So these are some of the new rules. So things like that might come up, so let us know. Now, for the marshals and the chief marshals, they control the competition arena. They prevent the presence of anyone other than athletes, officials, and other unauthorized persons from going into the field of play. The start coordinator, he supervises the duties. Well, he allocates the duties to each of the team members. Or that's the start team. And he also informs the starter, after receiving the relevant order from the competition director, that everything is in order to initiate the start procedure. Well, we talked about it earlier. The timekeepers are ready, the judges are ready, and the photo finish judge, even the winch gauge operator. The winch gauge operator these days is automatic, so most times we don't look at them, but in our local competition, it's still very relevant. That's the start coordinator. And I said here before that there's something that, okay, it's here. He allocates duties of the start team and supervises them, but importantly, events assigned to the international starters is the responsibility of the technical delegate. He cannot assign duties to the international starter. It's not his responsibility, it's the technical delegate that does that. For example, the technical delegate can tell the starter or the international starter or whoever that I need you compulsorily to look at starting the events that are involved with the crush start, especially the short sprints. That's where a lot of confusion comes. So you can deliberately detail the starter to do that. Then all other members of the start team, the start coordinator can detail them. Who will be recaller here? Who will be starters assistants at this particular event? So all those things. Now, he acts as a contact. This question always comes between the technical staff of the timing equipment company and the judges. This question will come in every exam. So the start coordinator does this. He keeps all papers produced during the start procedure, including all documents showing the reaction times and or false start waveforms, the images, if available. So he keeps all these records himself. It's not the starter. The starter gets it and hands over to him. He maintains because it's the one that will be dealing with cases eventually as a coordinator of the start team. He ensures that what is decided under TR 16.8 and 38.8.3 false under, that is the false start, is fulfilled. For example, if someone is now to be given a red card, yes, red diagonally half card, or a green card, as the case may be, he sees that through as a coordinator. The starter decides, but the coordinator ensures that everything is in order and applies it. Still on starter. While starting, he must position himself at the suitable place where he can have visual control, full visual control over the athletes. The whole field of athletes must fall into a narrow visual angle like this now. You can see all of them all through. He stands in an elevated position also to be able to see. It's not for just swag. It's for him to be able to. That's why they stand at on a high pedestal. Cross starts, they can ascertain that all athletes are ready or steady in their set starting position. Now, how do they know that? Because they have the headphones and the acoustic signals they know. So that is why they have the advantage more than most other people in the start team. Loudspeakers are recommended in the individual lanes, especially for staggered starts, like this one we are seeing. So there are speakers on the, in fact, this is attached to the starting blocks, so it's a given. If they are not, if loudspeakers are not used, then the starter must place himself that the distance between him and each athlete is similar. So the starter might now have to move to the middle between the first lane and the last lane, so that everybody will hear him at the same time. If the starter cannot place himself in such a position, then the gun shall be placed there and discharged by electronic contact. That is more complicated, but that can be done. So an actuator will now be used, and so that the gun can fire. Well, these days with wireless systems, all these things become easier. He must have an entire control of the athletes on their marks using the start control apparatus, the headphones and the acoustic signal that I mentioned before. Then he is responsible for disqualification or warning as per technical infringements. That has to do with false starts, not disciplinary. Disciplinary is the referee. Well, the recaller must be in a position to have full visual control of the athletes assigned to him. That means, or her. The recaller can be two, one or more. So there are times they might say, okay, you take from lanes 1 to 4, and the other one takes from 5 to 9, the case may be. So this person must have full visual control of those athletes that are assigned. They must not stand the same place with the starter like we are seeing here. But it all depends on how the athletes are positioned. The starter shall assign himself specific task and position. So you must know where to stay to be able to carry out your task appropriately. The starter will indicate when a false start, and with a second shot, any false start that occurs. And after a recalled or aborted start, the recaller shall report his observation to the starter. That is why there's always a team meeting. Who will decide? By the time he or she reports to the starter what his or her observation has been, then the starter will decide whether to warn or to disqualify such. The start coordinator will be standing by watching all these things. The start referee as well will be watching. Starter's assistant is different from the recaller. The recaller usually has a gun. Starter's assistant does not need to have a gun. So here you can find the starter's assistant is responsible for all this. Check if the athlete's name and bib numbers are correctly won. Check that the athletes are competing in the correct heat. Place each athlete in their correct lane or position. And when this has been completed, they shall signal to the starter that all is ready. When a new start is ordered, that is if there has been an infringement, the starter's assistant shall assemble the athletes again. At the end of the relay, they shall deliver the batons to the first, before the relay, they deliver the batons to the first athlete of each relay team. It's their responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the referee. Then they verify the athlete's positions after the command on your marks, which is what this starter's assistant is currently doing in this photograph. And after the relay, of course, they collect the batons that they've given to the athletes. It's their responsibility. Lap scorers. They are to record the times as given by the timekeepers over each lap in races longer than 1,500 meters. This is something that we debate, but I know in South Africa they practice it. Some other places, they only record the lap times. The rule says the times of over each lap, not just the lap. So let us know. Very important. The lap scorers will act under the direction of the referee, and one official lap scorer should not account for more than 4 athletes. And the truth is that anything more than that can result in errors. For race walk, 6, because they are a bit slower sometimes, but these days our race walk are even moving faster than normal athletes like us. The display of the laps at the finish line, they are the ones like this one is doing here. In this photograph, they change the laps when the leading athlete enters the finish straight. And of course, individual indication is given to each lapped athlete because what is displaying is not what they are recording as individual athletes. So they are told their individual situation. Then the final lap is signaled by ringing a bell for all the athletes, which is what this photograph is indicating. Chief Judge Field Events and his judges. The Chief Judge allocates the duties of the judges unless done in advance, as usual. The judge records each trial and measures each valid trial. Precise measurements when the bar is raised in the high jump and pole vault is responsibility of the chief judge, and the trial validity or non-validity will be indicated by white or red flag, as the case may be. Is measurement judge scientific? There's one chief and one or more assistants appointed when the electronic distance measurement or the video distance measurement or other scientific device is to be used. It supervises and the positioning of these measuring instruments as required by the manufacturers and the instrument calibrating laboratory. He must meet with the technical staff and prepare in line with other ways we have talked about, ensuring that the instruments are properly calibrated and checked with the manual measurement before the start of the event. His overall charge of the operation in conjunction with judges and the referee, and he reports to the referee. World athletics referees should, whenever possible, take part in the supervision of the preparation of the system, and a form of conformity shall be issued and signed by all those involved in the test and attached to the results card. That is a given. As a referee, you should, we said it before, you must ensure you supervise these things so that you can talk from a position of strength, position of knowledge and confidence. If you don't do this, you can be messed up, and I've experienced many times the early measurements are not correct. So, but especially day one, when people are still trying to find their feet, that's when you must make sure that these things are done well. You must test the equipment before the event by using a calibrated, certified steel tape, and you must indicate it in the conformity form. And that conformity form with the result card will be sent. Most of these electronic operators now, they are the ones that will bring the conformity form for you to sign, and they attach it and keep it with their results. So take note. Wind gauge. They are becoming more and more, but in the field events, yes, they are still very relevant. But in track, these days, they are, even in the field, the electronic systems, the meeting managers, which is the name given to most of these competition management systems, incorporate this wind gauge operation into the result management system. But for the wind gauge operator, it ensures the gauge is correctly placed. If it's not correctly placed, you get some very funny readings. I know Lucas and I, we had to look at some of these things at the stage. We wanted to position the gauge such that we don't obstruct the flow of the competition, two events taking place simultaneously. But only to now discover that the arrow, there's an arrow that leads to the direction of run. If you position it the other way around, you get an opposite speed. You get negative instead of positive, or the vice versa. So we must understand these systems so that nobody can mess us up. So it's correctly placed. It measures the wind velocity and records and signs the wind speed results obtained. That is the function of the wind gauge operator. For the competition officials, TIC manager, in major competitions, TIC is established, especially for competitions over a day. There must be communication between teams, organizers, technical delegates, everyone involved in the competition, really. So they act as a hub for these communications. On the TIC, it's at the TIC that even if they can't reach out to the teams directly through the TIC, once a result is announced or a decision is taken, it is taken to the TIC. And that time that the result gets there is recorded. So assuming you want to protest, if you don't, if you claim that you don't know that the results had been released, whatever timing that the TIC brings up would hold sway. So if that timing the 30 minutes time has expired, then you don't have any other case. Your protest cannot be attended to. Competition secretary, he manages and records the result when there's, you can see here. Okay, when there's no TIC. These days, we have virtual TIC, but in a situation where there's no TIC, like a one-day event, the competition secretary acts like the TIC. But even when there's the TIC, the competition secretary is almost part of the TIC. Events where athletes compete with different specifications, heights or weights, indicate the differences in the results. So as a competition secretary, you also have to be knowledgeable of the rules. If before the results are finally released, where there are different specifications, you must ensure that those specifications are reflected on the result sheets. For example, where juniors are competing with, under 18 are competing with under 20 on the track in hurdles. They have different specifications for their hurdles, height, and same, the results will be reflected that way. So as a competition secretary, it is not just to wait and collect results and send and what have you. There are some other responsibilities that they are supposed to carry out, at least to support the proper presentation of the event. If every other one, it escapes every other person, it shouldn't escape the competition secretary. If the competition regulation permits competing with assistance of another person, use of medical aid, the results shall be separated, which is obvious. So I will pause now and thank you for your attention and indulging me to have extended to 2 hours. Appreciate you all. I know let me just check the chat if there are more questions.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Oscar.
Okay. I
Thank you,
can see there's one chat from Evans which says, which card is shown to indicate the permission to participate under protest?
Say again.
There is which card is shown to indicate
competition under
protest by Evans?
Yes. There's no card shown, as far as I know. It is only
Can you get
indicated.
Me?
Yes, I get you. There's no,
Hello?
I don't know of any.
White, red. White, red.
Sorry.
White, red, diagonal.
What's the question again? What's the question? Can you hear me? Anybody hearing me?
Oscar, we can hear you.
Okay, what's the question?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Which card is shown to indicate the permission? Okay, yes, say, now I continue. Now I continue.
Okay, I can even see some of the, if you're talking about.
I think the question is, if there is a permission, if the competitor is going to ask the permission which card is going to be shown by the participants?
Oh, that is the white and red diagonally halved card is shown to the athlete so that everybody knows that the athlete is now competing under protest. And whatever result is recorded also will be recorded with the P. So the result will indicate that this result is still pending ratification because this athlete is competing under protest. Have I made it clear? Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is clear, I think.
It's clear.
This is clear.
We are getting it now.
Okay, there's another one which talks about, I think, James again, in a race where the lap scorer fails to give exact lap athletes who has been overlapped, who shall relay the issue to give each athlete correct position. I think, again, you should go back to the rule book, but can you talk, Oscar, can you answer that?
Before I even answer, the question has even gone. But if there's an overlap, first and foremost, the issue starts with the lap scoring. If the lap scoring is verified and there's an indication that there's an overlap, it rarely comes. What we get most times is people getting given an extra lap when they have not. Even the last African Games, we had a challenge in the, I think in the race walk also, and it got to the jury of appeal, and I was the secretary of that jury of appeal. We had to resolve the issue passively, because even the athletes and the officials accepted that, yes, they know that there was an error in the lap scoring. So, and they know themselves, their performances. The truth is that instead of 20 laps or so, they stopped at 18 or 19 or so. And it's a bit complicated. I can't get the whole story right now, but at the end of it all, it was resolved that amongst the officials that protested, that, okay, let the medal presentation go on as was recorded, because that would have probably been the likely result if the competition ended correctly. So there are some passive settlement of these things, and that is why I talked about technical resolution and political resolution of some of these things. The jury of appeal is trying to be corrected. Most times will come in to resolve most of these things. If they have to upturn certain things, it's due to political resolution of some of these things. I'm sorry to say, but that is how it is. So for the lap scoring, if an athlete is wrongly assessed, then it will be investigated, and whatever the outcome of that investigation is, the outcome will be presented. But it's not just for someone to say, because a lot of times we have people, spectators at the stand, judging even more than the technical officials, shouting and causing all sorts of confusion when they don't know exactly what is happening. But if the records are well kept, and that is why, again, I talked about not just recording the laps, but recording the times. Because if you attach the timing to the lap scoring, you will see where errors could come out, if at all. And that is why, again, most times our competitions, you use one lap total or two for competition where you have up to 20 or so athletes running. That will not be very good. So if we decide to keep by the rules, maximum of 4 per lap scorer, then we might be able to avoid some of these technical errors. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask one question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation first. My question is, while the athletes are running on the race, maybe some athletes may be pushed by by the opponent. So who will be the responsible? Is it umpire or the other concerned bodies? Just I need a clarification for this question.
When athletes are jostled,
Yeah, while the athletes are running on the track, maybe one athlete may be pushed by the athlete, the other athlete. If there is a pushing by the other athlete, who is going to observe the problem and who is going to be the responsible to address the problem?
I like your question. You asked two. Who will observe and who is going to be responsible for taking action? Everyone observes. The referee observes, the umpire, the judges, they observe. Now, who is responsible for taking action? The referee. The first action, after the umpire observes, raises the yellow flag to indicate that there's an infringement somewhere. If the referee pays proper attention, sees that flag, goes around to find out. Then based on the briefing, the report from the umpire, the referee takes a decision, or based on his own personal observation, he takes a decision. So he now acts, is now responsible. So for observation, everybody can observe. Even people that are not directly involved in the event, a co-referee can also observe if it's happening within his purview and support evidentially whatever decision the referee will take. I hope that suffices.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oscar, I wanted to come in there.
Yes, sir.
Given the fact that the referee plays a very big role in as far as determining the errors made by, the umpires. At the same time, also the track referee is also very, very important in deciding the position of the athletes if the track judges fail to decide. So, like you're saying, the track referee also needs to be able to observe, not just to take action based on the umpire or the chief judge. This brings in a very difficult situation where where should the correct position of the track referee be? Because he's now holding multiple very, very important roles, which are actually really very, very critical in making decisions in a track event.
I have the interesting responsibility to have been the track referee for, I think, is it the African Games or the event that happened after? And to be honest, it wasn't a funny situation. I had to be going around just like the football referee, going diagonally across the competition field of play, just to see the possible areas where infringements could take place. You see me at the steeplechase going on, I'll be at the water point. At another time, I'm at the hurdles. At another point, so you must go around. It's a very good exercise for people that want to exercise, to be present as much as possible. But when you cannot, you have to now rely on the reports from your either the judges or the umpires. And that's why I talked about the finishing order. That is one of I stand to be corrected, but from my experience, it is just to fulfill righteousness to say that the track referee will come and decide on the finishing order when he's not even there most of the time, except he's standing or sitting with the track judges where they are deciding. Because you are probably on the track somewhere trying to observe the event as it's going on, other events, other athletes, and the finishing is taking place. So for you to come and decide where people that were there on ground have arguments, then maybe you just use some other forms of experience to deal with that. But these are the things that will always happen. Even in the world, there's always provision for errors, and superior arguments will come and decide. So, but if there's anybody that has a better experience, this is why I brought it up earlier, that these are debatable, but it's something that we can continue to share. Good thing we're in a group, so we can continue to share on all these things as we prepare to be better referees and what have you.
Nesiama, if you allow me to run here.
Oh yes, sorry, thank you very much. I have not been seeing.
I followed your presentation with very interesting presentation. I would like to pop in here for just a few comments here with regards to the track referee. Now, it is something that you need to be putting yourself in an international situation, in an African competition or an international situation, whereby we don't use flags anymore. I mean, bear in mind that we have the camera, which is everywhere, and people, as soon as they see a yellow flag, there will be a lot of comments. There will be a lot of speculations. So there is a system which is agreed upon from the start itself. Basically, you have the umpires who are the eyes of the track referee. They report anything that they see, but they cannot decide. They cannot influence the track referee. They will give their report. Now, can be through walkie-talkies, or through you have different station managers who are there for the umpires, and then they will report to the referee. Now, again, I say you need to put yourself in an international situation. The referee has the backup of the video referee. Now you have the backup of the video referee. Now the video referee will immediately tell what the procedure for an international race would be. 3 people are concerned with the result of the race: the chief photo finish judge, the video referee for that event, and the track referee. Now, if there is a problem, automatically they will say hold the result. Now this instruction is given, and the result will be held. There will be no. Of course, the timing will be given, but there will be provisional results until they are able to check that incident. And the video referee does that almost as soon as the incident happens, and they are able to check the race. Now, for reference, the track referee will appeal to the video referee if they have seen an incident, or they suspect an incident, and the video referee will recheck. We'll recheck the video, and finally they will consult. But there is, at one point in time, a decision will be taken, and based on the elements that the video referee has, the decision will be taken. Now, this is why we say that the track referee, in competitions, for instance, national competitions or not international ones, the track referee can be all around, but not in international competitions. You put yourself in a place, the track referee, where they're able, of course, to look at the race in completely. They are able to be in communication with the video referee and with the umpires, and then they take the decision. So this is something what I wanted to add here with regards to the track and how to deal with incidents in the track.
Thank you very much, Suren. You have made my job very easy. I didn't even know you were on call, so it's good that you are here. Like I said from the beginning, this is a very experienced person, and I want to be like him when I grow up. He has said it. He has said it from the international angle, and it is it's not debatable. We have the support of the video referee now, and the video referee will continue to become more and more relevant as the days go by, just like it is in football. So that the jury of appeal is being gradually pushed away, the video referee will now be in a position to become the final arbiter one way or the other. So he has helped me a lot, and I believe he has helped all of us. We will have to
if you just allow me one thing about the the jury of appeal. Sorry about that. Now, the reason, yes, it was true at one point in time that the jury of appeal was making all kinds of decisions with regards political decisions, which automatically affected the race. And then what happened is that the technical committee, at the next opportunity, they amended the rules for these things not to happen. But then they decided, like a few years ago, that the jury of appeal must have at least 2 ITOs, 2 goal referees which form part of the jury of appeal, to avoid those kinds of decisions. The decisions are taken based on facts, based on the experience of the goal referees, and also the evidence of the video referees. So this is why the jury of appeal will go and look at the videos, and when they look at the videos, there is no discussion. There is no discussion at that point in time. Everybody goes and look at the video. They look at the video as many times as they feel necessary, until the chair of the jury asks the question, are you satisfied? And everybody say, yes, we are satisfied. Then they withdraw to their room and they start discussing there. And then each one will give their opinion about the incident, and then there will be a discussion. And at one point in time, if they have to re-go to the video room and look at the incident again, they will look at the incident again, but a decision will be taken. But normally the referee, the jury of appeal, is 5 people. So 2 are technical people, 3 are political, 3 are members of the council. Of the council. So then you'll have a decision. And I was on the jury of appeal for the World Championships at Budapest. And I can tell you that in all the decisions where there was, the referee took the decision. And when we looked at that decision, when there was a protest, when we looked at that videos and took it and look at that decision, I can say that all the decisions of the referee was upheld, because they had the evidence of the video before coming to the jury of appeal. It was upheld, and then none of those protests got through. So just to tell you, we were able, the World Athletics was able to tone down the political aspects of political decisions of the jury of appeal. Now it's very technical in knowledge of the rule and application of the rule.
Thank you very much, Suren. Again, you didn't tell us that you're also the chair of the jury of appeal in one of the World Para Games, but I shared it here. So
in Budapest, I was a member of the jury of appeal, one of the silver referees. But in World Para Athletics, I'm regularly the chair of the jury of appeal.
Oh, thank you very much. So we are very loaded, and I think I can see the number is quite impressive. So we will be continuing like this. Experienced people are here, very experienced. I'm learning from them. I've been learning from people like Suren for a very long time. So when I act the way I act from, derive some of my experience from there. So if there are no more questions, even if there are, we can continue the conversation on the platform. Let the platform not be so silent. We're going very well now, I'm sure. I see Abdallah. Abdallah is someone that engages the platform very well, any platform he is. So I'm ready to walk along, and every other of the facilitator will be sharing their experience as we move along. Thank you, Suren, for the support, and every other person that has shared here. AADC, thank you for the opportunity. You've always supported us, even in our quest for gold, and you've continued to support. I hope and pray that this time around we'll get very many bronze qualified referees. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and have a most rewarding weekend. The other aspect of the presentation, we will try and fix it, and that is the rule change. Once that is done by Moses and Ibrahim, it will be communicated so that we can continue to update ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, everyone. I think Ibrahim is around. He can speak a word before And then Suren
Yeah.
will. If Suren can you speak fast before Ibrahim finishes? Let Suren speak fast. Suren, have you talked about what they should expect next?
No, yeah. No, but now what happened now is that I see Oscar has taken my presentation. What I was supposed to do in 2 weeks' time. So what I do I'll work out with you. Probably we'll be taking the rule changes and having an overview of the rule changes before we continue. At the same time, we'll be talking to those who will be at the bronze and the silver level, how to prepare for the exams. I can tell you in the meantime that something when you go for the exams, it is not, you cannot, it's not an option. You must know the rules. You must know the rules by heart. So that's not an option. So if you are not at ease with the rules, start doing your own revision with the rules. You need to be devoting at least 2 hours per day in looking at the rules, at understanding the rules. And we will be coming in these sessions to help you if you have any questions, and we'll be overflying the rules to provide you the support. But knowing the rules is your responsibility. And if you don't have at least 2 hours per day learning the rules, it's no use for you to go for the exams. Forget about it. Okay, so start being serious as from now. Those who are going to take the bronze and those who are going to take the silver. If you have decided to go on that track and do the exams, start being serious as from now. Now it's already too late now it's already very late for the bronze, but for the silver, you need to be going at it. You'll be having at least 2 hours per day on the rules. Me, I do that almost every day for the last 40 years.
Okay, now Ibrahim, you can step in. Thank you, Suren. I think they have noted that.
Thank you, Moses. I don't think I have a lot to say, except for a word of encouragement. I think truly, Lucas, Oscar, you are true. We truly appreciate, on behalf of the group here, I want to appreciate your clarity.
Thank you.
Given us today. Sorry, I haven't been attending since we started. I've been we are trying to bid for the 2029 World Championships or 2031. So you are the people who are coming. If we will be lucky to get it, you are the people who will come and officiate in that event. So Kenya is really pushing very hard. I'm very happy. I've seen the number. It's over 100.
We are losing you. We are losing you. Are you still there?
Your network is now hanging. We can't get you.
You can get me.
Okay. Yeah, we can get you now.
You can get me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
you are clear now.
Okay, so what I was saying is, we are bidding. Africa is bidding for World Championships in 2029 or 2031, and you are the people who are going to be officiating in that event. If we are going to be lucky to get it, and I'm very impressed. We are very impressed from ADC that the interest is there, the knowledge shared here. You can see people like Surin is really ready to assist us. Peter from South Africa, and all of you. So we really appreciate. And we wish you, the exams you are going to be taking, we wish you the best of luck to pass. As soon as study. Or to us, when you go for these exams, the technical exams,
We have lost you again. We have lost you.
Am I there?
You're back.
I'm back, yeah?
Yes, you're back.
What
Are
I'm
you still
saying,
there?
I'm there. Are you getting me?